Okay, we're back with another video. I wanna be quick because today I've prepared a list of what the fuck?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man.
Of 10 tips that I would have liked to know before starting IB. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's start right away with number 10. Use AI. And if you don't use AI in 2026 to study, I think you're missing out on a lot because you're wasting so much time on tasks and stuff that AI could do for you in seconds. For example, I built full definition lists with every. There's a freaking mosquito. Every single term that you're gonna need for your exam, and the definitions are actually quite good. But I also used it for building my exam schedule and every schedule in general. Just give it the right prompt and then the AI is gonna do the job for you. And there's all kinds of AI, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, or even specific IB AIs. For example, Sam from StudyIB, which I think it's really cool because you don't have to give it any context, and he already knows everything about IB. So another thing that you could do with AI is looking up for case studies for specific subjects. For example, Econ, ESS, Globo, these kind of subjects, because if you find niche case studies where the examiner has never heard of it, never read it before, you're gonna surprise the examiner in a positive way. So that's something you could think of doing. Let's go to number 9, which is do not use AI. And I know it's a little counterintuitive, but of course there's sometimes where AI is really good, and there's sometimes where you shouldn't actually use AI. And that's when you're actually sending what AI does directly to the examiner. What I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't use AI to actually write your IAs, EE, or TOK. You can do your research, you can look up, you can do whatever you want with AI, in my opinion, but don't write the final essay with AI. They can surely recognize it, and firstly, you're gonna get flagged for it because more and more people are getting flagged for using AI, and that's not gonna pay off because even if nothing's gonna happen, I think examiners actually like it more when you write with your own brain, with your own hands, and a proof of it is my TOK essay. I'm terrible at writing in English. I'm genuinely not that great, and I got an A because I write it by myself, in my opinion. And I didn't like the subject, I didn't know what I was writing about, but at least I tried writing it by myself and it worked. So do that, trust me. Number 8, I chose to include do your homework because I know it sounds easy, but in my personal experience, I've never really done all of my homework, like 100% of it. Sometimes you're busy, sometimes you just don't want to do it. But especially with some subjects, you should do homework every time. I remember after the first 2 months in maths, I was feeling quite good about myself in the class, and I stopped doing exercise at home, and then it got bad. Like it got really bad. Like I wasn't understanding what was going on in the class. I was in trouble.
I never graduated school, never made it past 5th grade. I do mathematical equations and quadruples of algebra without even doing it on paper. You ask me any mathematical question, I bet you I can tell it to you right off the bat. Dimensions, diagrams, other, astrology.
What's 12 times 12?
12 times 12 is 91. 12 times 12, I'm sorry, 12 times 12, 909,967.
I just couldn't do anything of the exercises the teacher was giving us in class. And that's when I found out how important homework is. Like you do it every day. 40 minutes is not that long, and I think for the time that you spend, homework helps you so much. So do your homework and don't do like me. Let's go to number 7, which is find your study method. If you don't understand how to work in the IB, you're never gonna reach your full potential. Everyone works in a different way. For example, I've never taken notes in my life. I just have a single notebook where I just write every exercise I do in every subject. I'm a kind of a messy person, but that works for me. I'm sure you guys are gonna have other methods. There's the Pomodoro technique with 25 minutes studying and 5 minutes break. There's watching videos on YouTube. There's simply reading the book. There's going through some sites like StudyIB. There's mind maps. There's notes. There's just working on exercises. There's so much that you can do. And at the start of your IB journey, you should actually sit down and try different methods and find out what actually works for you the best. And once you find that, you're gonna see yourself improving in the sense that you're gonna spend less time and doing more. And that's very important, because then you can do whatever you want in your free time. And that's something I really valued. I wasn't studying the whole time. I had my activities. I played football. I had always time to do something, even if it wasn't a lot. You know what I mean? So let's go to number 6. And number 6 is don't undervalue IAs. Because sometimes you have a lot of stuff to do, you're learning a lot, and then IAs come and you're like, do I really have to do it? And the thing is, you should do it well if you want to have a good grade. That's something I really want to stress, because it's basically like a paper that you can do at home using whatever resources you have access to. And when you hand in an IA, it should be the best version you could possibly produce. And if you think about it, IAs are probably like 20%, 25% of your final grade in a subject. So 25% of 7 total marks, it's around 1.75 marks per IA. And the EE combined with the TOK is just 3 marks. So we can say that the EE is 1.5 mark. So if you really think about it, a math IA is worth more than a math EE. And that means that you shouldn't spend so much more time on your EE compared to your IA. And that was mind-blowing when I actually thought about it, and when I actually found out that IA is way more singularly than an EE. So think about that, and of course do the best that you can on your EE as well, but remember about IAs as well. For number 5, we have the sponsor of today's video, which is StudyIB. Since I know how difficult it is for us students to get the TOK essay done, I wanted to show you some functionalities of StudyIB. There's the homepage, nice little homepage. And we can go to the AI tools, and here on TOK essay you just click. I was in May 26. My prompt was in the number 1, okay, and then I should just choose the PDF file to put in. Okay, now my TOK essay is in. We can let StudyIB cook. In the meantime, we can check other stuff on their site. I don't know, I'd like to look at some maybe math AHL questions. I would like to go with functions maybe. Let's see. Holy shit. Yeah, if you guys need anything to exercise, I think that's so good. Like, you got the solutions here with explanation and stuff. You got the mark scheme, and every mark is explained as IB does. Okay, we got our feedback. Look at this. Organized in this type thing that really reminds me of FIFA for some reason. But the craziest part for me is that they write all of the stuff just beside the text. So it's basically an extra feedback that you can have at any time. It's not gonna be 100% correct with the grade, but it's something really nice if you're trying to improve your essay. I'm gonna put a link in the description where you can go and visit their site. It's actually crazy. Like, it's worth it. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't believe it's actually a useful.
A few moments later.
And my number 4 is take mocks seriously, because even though mocks are not real exams, they are the final checkpoint before your final exams, and they are so useful to understand where you're at. If you do well on your mocks, then you know you're in a good spot, and if you continue doing what you're doing, you're gonna do well. But if they don't go that well, then you should start thinking, you should look back at the papers you've done during those mocks exams, start noticing what your weaknesses are, and start tackling them right away, filling those gaps, and preparing adequately for your final exam. Remember, not showing up is the biggest mistake you're gonna do. Don't be scared to show up. Even if they go bad, at least you know exactly what went bad. But remember, show up and take them seriously, because they are gonna get you used to the exam environment. They're gonna be an important step towards your final exam. Number 3. Now, I would finish subjects in 1 year. I don't know if it's a thing in every school, but at least in mine, you could take specific subjects, especially language. It was Norwegian, I did Italian, and you could basically finish a subject in 1 year only instead of 2. And that was so useful for me. Of course, the first year was a little bit more stressful because I had to do a 2-year program in only 1. And of course, in May I had to take my exam. But my second year was so much better, was so much lighter, in the sense that I had so many free blocks. I had 5 subjects instead of 6 in the final exams in May 2026. It was so much better. So look into it. I don't know which schools offer that. I don't know specifically how it works, but get informed, because it was such an advantage for me to have 1 less subject and focusing on the ones that I had left, you know. At number 2, we have build your schedule carefully. And what I mean by that is that there's some subjects that are known to be more time consuming, more difficult. Of course, it depends from person to person, but don't take too many difficult subjects. Just limit yourself to 2 or 3. I've seen a lot of people taking 3 or 4, and some of these subjects might be, and were for me, maths and physics HL.
What's wrong? What's wrong with you?
But I've heard chemistry HL is difficult as well, history HL. Of course, it depends from person to person, so you know what to take. If you're an academic weapon, you can take 6 difficult subjects. But I'm talking for the normal people like us, you know. And that's, for example, what I did. I took English B instead of English A, which left me with basically 1 less subject to actually study. And the same can be said about ESS instead of potentially chemistry. ESS is a lighter subject, I would say. But during exam period, you're gonna thank yourself for choosing a couple of easier subjects so that you can actually focus on the harder ones. So that was number 2. And then we have number 1, which is ask questions. Yeah, sometimes you can find the answer simply by looking it up on the internet, but sometimes the questions are very specific and it's difficult to find an answer on the internet. Maybe you can't find it, and in that case you shouldn't be scared to ask to your peers, your second years, or even to ask to your teacher, because they are there for you. And that's what I used to do. For example, with IA feedback, EE feedback, I would ask my second years, ask my teachers, ask everyone who could give me an answer. You can also ask any questions in this comment section, because I'm gonna try to answer as many comments as possible. But from my last video, I've seen many people are unsure about IB, have a lot of question about it. So if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment. I'm gonna try to answer. Yeah. So let's go to the bonus tip. Oh, I didn't put a name for it, but I would define it as like, don't be crushed by pressure.
You sound as though you're feeling the pressure. I'm not feeling the pressure, no. You cannot put pressure on me, no chance.
How's man talk about pressure? I don't feel pressure.
There's a lot of people I've seen who before exams are very, very stressed. And of course, you have conditional offers from universities. You might have pressure, external pressure from your parents, but do not let that affect you, because at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. Like, what I always think about is like, who's gonna ask you in like 2 years what your grade in IB was? Like, will they really care if it was 36 or 45? No, not really. Like, no one cares at the end of the day. You're doing it for yourself. And if you actually go there without that weight, that pressure, you can perform better. And that's what made me perform better than I expected. So yeah, being relatively calm before exams, of course not fully calm, I was stressed as well, I think will help you give the best in the exam hall. Good luck for everyone who's starting the IB.
You tell me good luck. I don't need luck to perform. I decide when to perform good.
Good luck for the people that are gonna graduate in 2027, 2028, and so on. I hope a lot of people are gonna find this video helpful. Yeah, see you.